Okay, welcome all to the December 1st, last meeting of the Dudley Water and Sewer Commission of 2021, hopefully. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
You can say two.
Don't need to. Okay, minutes from our last meeting, closed.
I looked at them.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of November 3rd.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay. 6 Fairfield Drive. Christoph or Nicky? Come up to the table. Let us know what your...
So I have an issue with my pumps that I have currently set up for sewer coming up from my house to the Mason Road, pretty much like I'm pumping up the hill. And I've been trying to replace them. I'll work on it, and nobody wants to kind of take care of that and deal with that stuff. So I guess the other option is to tie down to my, to the sewer where my neighbor has on his yard. I think that's where the actual sewer line starts down from, pretty much from my house.
There's a line that goes down. When they put these houses in, his was the only one that was with a ejector going up to Mason Road. The others, the line does start.
Is that on the right-hand side going
Yes.
down?
Yes.
The first one on
Yes.
the right?
Yep.
Round.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. There's
Yeah.
a sewer.
Now we have a line going down to the pump station down there. So what they're asking was, and Mike had briefed me on it, it says the only way to accommodate this, and this is up to the board, and it basically runs on a little bit of another easement issue, and that would be entirely up to him and his neighbor and whatever, is to put a line in and drop into the manhole, which is about 10 feet deep. So it would be no problem at all, and he'd be gravity at that point and just forward into that, right at his neighbor's manhole. So he would need an easement clearance between him and his next door.
You'd have to go across the...
Next door. It would be, a pipe would have to be put from his pipe to the neighbor's manhole, which is in his driveway. They all go down the street like that.
So you're
Oh,
saying,
they go down the
John,
driveways?
Yeah.
there's a gravity line going down to that pump station, and then a
Correct.
force main coming
Yeah,
up. in the
his
road.
line is the first one coming up. It was the first when the house was.
Right,
When they did those new houses.
I remember when that
it
was
after
done.
his, and that's when they put the line in down to that pump station.
So, let me ask you this question, now that that's kind of explained, why can't you go out your front yard in the gutter into the manhole to stay off your neighbor's property?
I mean, the line, the actual, what do you call it, the manhole, it's pretty much 2 feet on my neighbor's property, which he was fine with tying into that stuff.
It would be an easy, good fix if the easement issue could get resolved through with the board's understanding, their understanding. Like I said, I'm just giving you the facts of the case.
Okay.
He's right. I mean, like, he has talked to the neighbor. Mike's thinking talk to the neighbor. The neighbor's all for it, but there would have to be a written understanding that if that is done, it does not come back on the water sewer department at all. If anything happens, I mean, of course, we'll respond in emergencies like we always do, but it
Oh,
was.
so there's still all private lines?
That would be a little private line between him and his neighbor.
What about the people further down?
That's not, nobody's in time, and that's something different. That's a line that we control going down that pump station.
You accepted.
Yeah, we accepted that. That could be easily done, accepted. They would have to tie in normally. He has an issue right where he's next to this manhole that he could just run a line and put a drop in right there and pour in.
Just to stay away from the easement with the neighbor's property like you did over here at the house down here on Chase Ave, just come down the gutter and enter the manhole? You don't think we can do that?
I haven't really got a good look at it because I just don't, it would,
I mean, I'm trying to help you out, the
No,
easiest
no,
way.
no,
it
to-
might be
yeah.
involved a lot of street work and that, I mean, I don't know what,
But George, we don't want to give a situation down the road.
no, I know, that's why I just
That's-
let you guys,
If it's feasible to do another way, where you don't have easements, and not, we've got issues in town, we've got pipes going under people's houses. Other
Okay.
people's houses.
From other neighborhoods.
Gotcha.
So, It's
The
actually-
old stuff, yeah.
we might be able to do something out and then cut it in around and back, but that's, I believe that line's up in the driveway areas. When they put it up near the property lines.
What, the actual manhole? or-
Yeah,
The manhole is on his yard, but it's, you know, like it's 2 feet from my property, pretty much.
yeah, what I
into
mean, it's in the
his.
yard areas, I mean,
It's 2 feet from your property line?
Pretty much.
Oh, so you almost have no movement at all on his property?
No, it's more into my front yard to kind of
Across
get
your
to
front
that.
yard
Yeah,
to-
exactly. Yeah.
And the neighbor has no issue with it?
No.
Have you talked to a contractor to get an idea of excavating?
Yeah,
What
I
the
talked to
easiest-
Bobby
Bob
Mason
Mason,
and
yeah.
Mike were all together with them, they,
They come up with a game
that,
plan?
that was the best game plan, it was one of the best game plans to do.
not to be a devil advocate, 25 years from now, neither one of you own the house, and that pipe from that manhole clogs, who's responsible for it?
That'd be in the contract, that the easement they drop for both properties at any time, it would be their responsibility, the owners of the houses at the time.
And you'd have a lawyer draw that
The
easement
law-
up?
They would have the
so it's a
lawyers
legal-
draw that all up
legal
together,
Document?
yeah, and it'd be only their properties of those house, not the names of people, but the properties. Any residents in those properties, if there's an issue.
So
is-
what's,
So why did they do a line down through the?
That was a new development, when they, see, there was a few houses on that road before they put the new subdivision down there. So the new subdivision has a
That house
line.
was built over 40 years
Yeah,
ago
His is one of the older houses on the top.
by
of the
Charlie
road.
Darren.
Yeah.
Remember Charlie Darren built that house
Yeah.
45 years
And
ago?
he put that
40
line up
years
there to
ago?
go up the
And he
street.
put a set of duplex pumps in that
Yeah.
house just to go
Yep.
up to the top of
Mm-hmm.
Mason Road to get out of trouble. And like you say, you're pumping, you're the only guy pumping.
and then I tried to fix that, and nobody wants to take, you know,
They're old pumps, they probably don't want.
nobody wants to work on it.
You got a lot of
You know.
friction going up the hill too. You
So
got a
I-
lot of, you know, so,
I did replace the pumps myself because nobody want to work on it. So like, got a little bit tired of kind of doing that every couple of years, and just, you know, and since I couldn't find anybody to help me out with it,
I
you
got,
know,
you should have called us, we could have helped you with somebody to help you with.
Now,
But
you're
we
at-
know.
because I know like I did call before, like the first time it was broken, you know, like, and you guys were checking out all this, you know, make sure that the line is fine and all these things, but like I couldn't get any contractors to kind of work on it, you know. And I've been calling a few people around here too, and nobody wants to take
So
upon
you-
themselves.
So I would guess you'd keep your work between Mike and
Is it-
your contractor?
So what are you guys saying, like, what could damage on that, you know, like, possibly, like, you mean, like, if,
Nothing.
No, that's such a short span and it's pretty deep there.
yeah,
It-
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it's going down from my house, it's going down as well.
Yeah,
because
it's all
like
on
I said,
private.
like,
Yeah,
Yours is all on private.
my
property.
level of the property is even with his roof, you know, so like, that's pretty
you've got-
steep, you know.
You've got the elevation. in
Yeah,
your
exactly.
favor. You're going downhill, not uphill.
Is there any way to put it in the road or in the easement?
I mean, there's always a way, but I think we're gonna hit other easement issues going back into where the main is. I'm just not,
So where's that main portion?
I think it's up into the property lines a little bit as it was put in. A lot of those contractors like to run them close when they were doing it. But it would involve digging into other properties, I think, to get it to where you have to make a giant kind of loop around to get to it. He's uphill of the line, so you have to go down now, and go down. And that road, that section, I'm not even sure if that's, yeah, the town accepted that road, the Fairview.
Yeah.
Fairfield, yeah.
But this way here is, you know, it's just a matter of paperwork, getting the paperwork right to exactly where the lawyers.
So this is the house right at the top of the street?
Yeah.
And my concern, George, is 25 years from now, we're passing this down, some kind of problem down the road. Whether you own it or not, it's,
Well, that's,
two homeowners could get in in court fighting who's gonna pay for it.
Yeah, this has to pass on down to the deed of the house, that's the issue. It has to pass down.
Okay,
The
it's
deeds
on
of the
the,
house.
it's on the deed,
Yeah.
it gets clogged,
Yeah.
one of them decides not to, I'm not paying for it. I didn't do it, it's your problem.
It doesn't come back to us, we don't have no.
I understand, but
liability.
we're passing the,
But you'd be going into the municipal manhole.
Yeah,
Owned by
but
the town of
as
Dudley,
far as
right?
on the property line, it's.
Yeah, the line-
We would not,
Okay,
we
all
would not
right.
have any responsibility. We would, you know, the problem is that we.
That would be a line all on private property anyways, which would be the same as any other private line.
You know, we just respond in an emergency to try to assist, but
We
if it
don't-
turns out something more has to be done, then a contractor
We're not
gets called.
responsible for anything
We don't
that
own
gets in
the
the road
manhole?
anyways.
No.
The manhole that's on the, that we're tying into, that's ours.
That's
We're
ours.
responsible for
That's
the
from-
manhole,
that's yours?
not the pipe
That's ours.
coming
From
in.
that point further down.
I apologize, I misunderstood.
Yeah, oh, okay.
I thought
But
it
it's on
was,
his prop, it's
I
on.
thought it was after the
Yeah.
manhole that we started ownership.
No,
Yeah, no.
no, the
no.
manhole's
And
ours.
actually, as I think about it, there may be an easement there for that line. So we may not even be talking about properties involved in this, but I can't say for sure. I don't have the plot.
I think he was saying something that he signed something to kind of give it to the town or whatever, yeah.
I thought there was easement rights going through there. Like I said, this is way back. But I think it's pretty, it wouldn't even be, of course, the lawyers would have to check into that, and that would be you two homeowners get.
Do we have, what do we have for, did you look and see if what we have for records? of
Mike
that?
was looking and he got caught up in something else, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and see if we can find something on it. I don't know if we can.
Does
I mean,
our assessor's office have
It
that
might.
information, like through the registry of deeds, like
She might.
anything of that nature?
She
Would it
might.
be at the town hall here?
She might.
I know people go online, they go to the registry of deeds all day long snooping around, checking everybody else's property out.
With George.
So it's gotta be out there somewhere.
If we own that manhole, how much property do we own with the manhole?
Sometimes it's usually about 5 feet around, it's 5 feet in a general
So
area.
that would be to his property anyways.
Yeah. The base of that property, that manhole
That
comes out,
should
like
be,
you say, it's
that
probably
should
like-
cover, the easement should cover just about everything on this side of it, his side of it, after his property.
So,
It
from-
should. If
From,
it's-
from our standpoint, then, what we need to determine, do we want to allow that to be done? And, you know, the legal, we can look into all the legal stuff and figure out, you know, if, you know, what the easements are, whether it, you know, what's owned by, what's our property and what's belongs to, what's on private property, and go from there. But, I guess the determination today is whether or not to allow Mr. and Nicky
I think we have
to tie in that
I
way.
think we have to find out if there has to be an easement, because we can't okay it
Maybe
without
an
an easement.
existing
Yeah.
easement.
Okay, can we find that all out? And
We'll give it a whirl, see if we can come up with, Lisa can maybe come up with something for us to give it a, some kind of records on easements of like when Mason Road was done, I was looking at, you know, there's a lot of shape shifting going on, so this area had that, this area had that, some roads been moved, other, you know. But
Okay.
we'll see if we can come up with something.
Um,
Are you in peril right now with this problem? Because I can give you a number of somebody that does this work.
does,
Does your pump work?
is everything working now?
It's working, I got it connected by, you know, kind of like extension cord, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a little bit Mickey Mouse of,
So you need to get this done sooner rather than later.
yeah, I was worried that, you know, it may break down in the wintertime and it's just gonna be
Why
even more
don't you
difficult.
give the office a call, give me your name and number, Jed. I'll call her in the morning and I will call.
Because I'll be working from home tomorrow, so I'll be home all
Okay, I have
day,
an
so.
individual who's out there, he's a
Yeah.
private contractor who does this work on this.
So you're already, I mean, you're already connected to the system, so rather,
Yeah.
you know, you're not looking for permission, you're just looking for permission to connect, you're looking for permission to reroute in a different way.
Because I'm just worried that it's gonna happen again, you know?
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah, no,
I know we, you know, I worked
Yep.
on it a couple of
Yeah.
You
times.
can help
and,
look at
yeah.
that situation you have, and if there's even another avenue that's this, might help out, so, doesn't hurt to try.
Because I know I contact Bob Mason and he was, you know, trying to figure out like the other way, so.
Yeah,
He
it's a
didn't
tough
look
little
into-
thing. I
yeah.
think he was thinking the same thing I was. Oh, bless you, sir.
Okay, so,
I think we can give him permission to contingent on,
yeah, we get all the legal stuff worked out, and As
Yeah,
long as
yeah.
that all works out, I think, you know, whether you're tied in, forced up the hill, or by gravity down the hill, it is really of no
Mr. Chairman,
consequence.
I think we could make a motion and give Mr. Nicky permission to eventually tie in once all legal matters are met and we're
Or
free
whether-
of any
Yeah, whether we
issues.
gotta find out if we need legal.
Yeah.
Because if we have easement already, you know, like you said, outside the manhole to his property line,
So we have to find out if we have a
and you don't have to get
schematic.
nothing drawn up.
Yep, I mean, that's,
Well, I'd recommend that we go ahead and approve it tentative to. the
contingent on
legal-
all the legal
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
being worked
Yeah.
out. Okay, someone want to put that in the form of a motion?
No, go with what Bill said, yeah.
Go with the motion of, approve it, subject to the clarification of legal
Okay,
issues.
I'll second
And
it.
whether or not the existing
Where they
easement,
need an easement.
Yeah.
otherwise they'll need a new easement.
okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous, so
So
Well,
I'll
our
stop
office
by
will- our
tomorrow
office will
morning and
continue to
just
work
kinda
with
see
you
what-
and
Contact her in
figure
the
out-
morning to get all your information and stuff, and I'll give you a call, see if I can come up with a guy to
I
help.
think she may have already.
You're gonna call me anyways.
Yeah,
to schedule
yes.
for that, so we'll be in
You're gonna
touch.
check.
So whichever, she's gonna call Lisa in the morning, see if she can get me a, paper on that street, see if there's any type of information on that. I'll ask Mike about any easement plans that he can find.
We need to see it written somewhere that it's,
Yeah, because this
you know,
is,
5 feet outside the manhole, whatever it is, you know, it's.
Because if it's
becoming
the
a
way it's
competition
going right
too.
now, it's going through somebody's property anyway, is it?
Right.
The other way.
But
you
if
know.
we have an easement, then it's not a problem.
We have access to, a easement to it to be able to repair the
Yeah.
manhole if a repair ever is needed, so that amount of space may extend to your property line already.
No, but I'm saying
in
like
which
the
case-
way I have tied up right now, it probably goes through the other neighbor property
Right.
to the.
It
you
could
know,
very well.
Yeah, so,
Who knows? Okay, well, we'll get it,
Okay.
we'll work with you to,
awesome,
Get
so
that.
I'll get in touch tomorrow, and
Thank you.
okay.
what time is the best time?
I'm there at 7, so anything after 7 in the morning.
Okay, that's easy.
Have your coffee first.
Yeah.
all right,
Awesome, thank you.
yeah, good.
Okay,
Help 'em out.
Jack Ochowski, Ochokey?
Yeah, my name's Cody.
Cody, okay. '24 Oxford Ave?
Yes. Looking to tie in water and sewer. Permit was already approved before, it ran out, it expired. The building took longer to get put up than he planned, and
His father was here with the engineer a year or
Right.
so ago.
That was right as COVID was starting.
Yeah,
One of our
yeah.
that was one of our last public meetings.
That's the
before
old
we got-
lumberyard property.
Yep. So we've got all of this. What happened is, we approved, let's see, a special permit on January 8th of 2020, and then sewer connection was applied for, where's the date? 1/14/2020. And of course, they both expired, he just needs to extend. So that your intention is to connect, the building's
Yeah.
already up, right?
yeah, the building's been put in and up. Now it's just on if you'll allow it to start now, or if it's in the spring, I don't know if it's still active to build the tie-in or not. I talked with the water department there, and they were struggling to find if the stub came out of the road or not on I think it's school.
There's a possible stub if you're looking at school court, the lower
Yeah.
right down. We were talking about that a couple of years back, to
Yep.
explore that and check
I'm
it out, dig it
remembering it
out.
now,
Yeah.
But, I mean, it didn't
They
work out.
came up probably, I don't know, a couple months ago, and they wandered and walked up and down the road and checked everything out, and didn't really know and wasn't really sure, so it was kind of one of those unknown, it might be in the edge of the sidewalk, it might not be. and that was the only other thing. And then the sewer's already stubbed into the property, it just needs to be tied into.
Yeah, so they said the worst came to worst, the water would do the same thing.
It's mainly just the water, knowing whether, if it's stubbed out of the road or not.
I remember talking about that now, back in January of 2020. So basically, it's just to extend,
Well, it's not extension because it ran out.
To renew.
to
Renew.
renew it, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to give Mr. Ochaki permission to renew his previous sewer and water permit, which I guess would be for 1 year again, right? Would expire from tonight if we vote on it, if it's not
Okay.
used.
Yeah.
Motion's been made.
What's the fees, Jan?
They're all attached here. So he has to, within 5 days, he has to pay me $350 to hold the permit for the year.
Yep.
And then I've attached the applications and everything here for him.
No problem.
If, when he brings me the $350, we'll go over everything and walk you through it.
Now, is that $350 for both water and sewer?
That's just to hold the
Or
permit.
hold the permit?
Yep, then there's the meters and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
connection fees
afterwards,
and
yeah.
everything.
Oh, that's
depending
still,
on
yeah,
what
that's
size
all,
and
that
everything.
hasn't changed.
Yeah.
You guys own the garage on Schofield Ave too, the one down by Ramco,
Yeah.
across the street?
Yes.
Is that used for stuff?
Oh, that's-
To be honest, I just work for him part-time.
Okay, that explains it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
It's just a renewal for the time being.
And here's the, pass that over to Jen so that it doesn't,
Yeah.
she brought all the,
I just want to make sure we get paid again.
Yeah.
We follow the regulations.
okay. We're good. Okay, 153 West Main Street. Evidently, there was a question as to whether or not that had been cut and capped when the house was taken down. George, you would,
Curb stop's still there. Found it yesterday and exposed it and marked it out. Notified Marty at his, at the place, but he wasn't there. I left a message, call me, or here's what the story is, and haven't heard anything. I
Okay,
don't know if they're still being charged a service charge, though. That's, okay.
That's why he questioned.
Yeah, all right.
okay.
That's standard with any curb stop, too.
Oh, what's the other option then, George? You're gonna shut it off at the main and just,
Well, the curb stop's shut, but I mean, it's active as far until he tells us. Then it's his responsibility to get a guy in there and cut it and cap it.
and then if he wants it 6 months from now, he's gotta pay all the fees to
He'll have to start the whole process
process all
over
over
again.
again.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's more informational than anything else. Water treatment plant sewer connection. I got a call last week. Water, I got a call last week from Derek from Ty and Bond. He's on vacation this week. But he was asking about the process of what the process is for getting a sewer permit for the new water station. Connection fees and all of that. Does he need to account for all of that? I told him tentatively that yes, it would be a user just like anyone else, because they are separate enterprises. But that I would check into it and follow up.
I spoke with him. They wanted to be on this meeting for permission to connect, but they couldn't. They'll be on the January meeting.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I talked to Jeff today, and that's what he said.
Yeah, they want to be on, basically, that's going to be, we're going to table it till next month. But they'll be here next month to ask the water department for permission to tie, the sewer department rather, to tie to get a sewer connection.
That's behind 6,
For the new water treatment plant.
that one.
Yes.
Yeah, 6.
Which will be up on Fairview.
Yeah, whatever you got there.
So that's where that is.
What are they putting down the sewer?
They have to have for a bathroom. Bathroom and backwash.
Eye wash stations.
But actually, backwash will be into frac tanks, but won't it?
Backwash will eventually be into the sewer.
Well, if you have sewer available, it can go.
Oh,
into
it
sewer.
can, okay.
Otherwise, it would go into a tight tank.
Yeah, okay, so, in any case, there's just so much going on. Yeah, so that's, again, it's more informational, and they'll be here next month to actually apply for the sewer connection.
And for the record, I stayed on that Zoom meeting today for the,
Yeah.
I don't know if any of the rest of you stayed on it, but holy cow.
Brian was on.
I don't know how you do that, Jay.
Yeah, I guess,
For the-
we were on.
Plumbing
we were-
board,
The plumbing board to get a variance for
to go to a
one
single
single,
unisex
to have a
bathroom.
single unisex bathroom.
So that was
and
approved, just so you.
We were on page 5 of the agenda. So, yeah, no, I can't take that much time
2
off from work.
hours.
He was in the office with me.
Oh, you had it for 2 hours?
Yes.
Oh, lucky you.
I had 2 other meetings during it.
Multitasking.
So, then also, I guess during that agenda item, there's also enclosed a written copy of an email that we received from Ty and Bond with updates on everything that's going on with our, with them and our projects and everything else. It's been very, it's a very busy time, and it will be, will continue to be so for the next few months at least anyways, until, I would imagine until bids go out for a new treatment plant. Any questions on that?
I didn't get a copy of it.
Yeah, I read it.
Did you look under your folder?
Yeah.
Mine was under my.
Sorry. 'cause
There it is,
came
right
after-
there.
I'm sorry.
It came after, so I just kind of, sorry. I did.
Yep, so that's what's going on.
So all that's gonna be needed, and in the end, we'll be paying the sewer.
Right.
Paying to the sewer department too, you know?
Water pays sewer and sewer pays water, just like everyone else. Yeah, they just had for information for the rest of the board, they had a meeting, Zoom meeting, yesterday with DEP for the MEPA process, Environmental Protection Act, Environmental Policy Act, for the plant process. We don't have any toads or salamanders that are in the way, so it should go fairly well. But that's, and then the rest of the updates are all there. We'll be before Concom and Planning Board on the 8th, I believe, yeah, the 8th of December. Ty and Bond will be there, but we'll be taking the lead, but I at least will go if anybody else wants to as well. Just, if there's more than 3 of us, we need to post it. More than 2, we just need to post. But it's ongoing. Everything's ongoing. Number 8, 2022 meeting dates. There's a list. There's a list on the, do we need to vote to adopt these, or is it just,
It's more just so that you're aware and I can post it with the town clerk so everyone's aware.
they all fall on the first Wednesday of the month?
Yep.
I don't see anything.
That's been your meeting night.
It's been our meeting night for as long as I can remember.
Yep.
None of them look like they come close to conflicting with any of, any holidays. That's there. Radio study?
That's what Brian,
I'm not exactly sure what he's
I-
doing with that. He put that in, or did you put
yeah,
it in?
he put it in.
Oh, I think I know
About the
what
new
that's
system
about.
of,
Yeah, one of the construction meetings we were at, they had said that,
That's right.
since Don from LaFleur has left, Don kind of spearheaded the whole radio system that we had installed. I don't, as I said before, I think Matt was a better person to have for that type of stuff, but that happened before I came here. But Matt is more of a controls guy, where Don was an electrician that played around in his basement with controls. And the radio system that you adopted and put in place doesn't really mesh well with everything else and the SCADA system for the new treatment plant. So they're looking to do a radio study to determine what the best equipment would be to make everything communicate. I know you already had some issues with the radio communications from the tank.
Yep.
And that was part of it when they were reviewing that and trying to fix it. He's like, this really isn't the ideal system for what you want. And for him to spend the time to learn all the stuff that Don did, because, like I said, it was, Don made things work, but Don knew how to do it.
Don actually invented some of that system
That's what
himself.
I mean. He created it
He created
himself,
some
and
of
he
that.
knew the workarounds to get to where he was. Somebody else walking in is gonna be like, I don't know how he did this, and why isn't it working?
The
So-
two worst word, the two nastiest words in the English language. Workaround.
Get around.
Oh, like you.
15
So-
relays sending messages everywhere
Yeah,
else.
Exactly,
Yep.
so.
So
he had recommended that we look at doing a radio study and determine the system that's gonna work, that anyone that does this type of work can walk in and say, all right, here's what's wrong. So you're using common standard parts.
who would be the person to,
It's Matt Pilardi
Matt
from
Pilardi.
Ari Erickson is the person that,
And then that would be Webster, Jeff Webster?
Josh
Webster.
Josh Webster.
Would be the
okay,
one with him.
from, what,
So Josh is from LaFleur.
yep,
But Josh is more of an electrician that knows some PLC work, whereas Ari Erickson just does PLC work. They only do controls, they're not electricians, all they do is control work.
so they work.
So they'll
Work
work
hand in
together.
hand, so we'll have two best of both worlds if we,
Okay. So that's,
Matt's someone that you call up and half the time he can figure it out over the phone and tell you what buttons to push, and you fix the problem.
so do we, any action we need
No,
to
this
take
just,
now?
I
Is
think,
this
I
just
don't know why,
informational?
it's more of an informational thing.
Okay.
Is it gonna cost us for this stuff?
Anything with radio is gonna cost something on some stage of
This
it,
is-
we just don't know.
I know, but for them to go
A
and
lot of-
check it out, if they're gonna bill us to,
It'd be normal billing, like they did some work for us, like we'd call them in for something.
I think,
It would be
well, typically,
that's operational at that point.
typically a
Until we
radio
set up.
study, the companies that you're trying to buy equipment from or whatever will do the study, and they don't typically have to come on site. They look at it and they pull up.
What other frequencies are being used in the
Electronically,
area?
they look at the terrain, they look at the maps that show all the hills and everything.
Topography.
Look at
Yeah,
the, look at the
topography.
licensing for whatever frequencies are being used in the
Yeah,
area.
and they
to
can
see what's
determine
what can
if,
be used.
Well,
if the radio
but all those two
frequency.
guys gonna charge us.
Well, no, that's what I was saying, is that they'll typically do the radio study for free. I mean, they'll probably ask Jen for a list of all the customer list, so you can see what's gonna communicate where and where the town-owned properties are. And they'll just run it on the computer with the anticipation of, if this works, they'll buy the equipment from us and they'll make their money that way. So that's typically how it works. I'm not sure.
There's
if
still
they-
refinements being done, they're working a little bit here and there, working on certain things to fix certain things anyway.
well, how's that system working now, where Brian has it on his phone, and you've got that satellite that?
It's working good on the phones, we're picking up, yeah, but
that's
we're
the only
still
way it's
getting.
working out through the
we
phones?
we still get surges that are shutting the stations down when electrical storms come. Any type of lightning strike near the area that shuts the system down. I asked Donnie way back why can you get some kind of protector or anything? So as we go further into it, we're gonna ask them, protection wise.
So those new antennas that are up there, are they actually working?
Those are, those are working.
And those are, what,
That's what's
control.
controlling the stations to turn on and off.
The cellular.
So, like,
through what?
Cell
radio.
tower. Radio
No,
cell.
it's radio frequency.
Radio
not cell,
frequency.
yeah.
And they're picking it up through their phone where they can watch it.
Well, that's a different thing. So where the main hub is, that has all your controls, like in the station.
Yeah, downstairs there, yeah.
That's tied into the internet So he's picking it up on his phone through the internet.
From
Yeah.
what you see, what do you have?
Me at my place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went with a totally different system, and to be honest with you, when I was doing mine, Donnie was telling me, he's like, hey, I found this new thing, and I'm trying it out in Dudley. And I'm like, yeah, no, you can keep that in Dudley. I'm going this way. So
Yeah, okay.
I went with a different one.
Different
And,
brand.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got it on my phone too, where I can pull up all that stuff. But-
Yeah, that's the radio study would be for communication between sites.
Right, between
Between the tanks,
the
and the pumping
wells,
stations.
Yeah,
the
because-
tanks, the treatment plant.
Booster station, the
Yes.
tanks, all the way down to the lower part of town, to all the pump stations now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, into the treatment plant.
Concern is, are we gonna get like a $5,000 bill to do this radio study?
No.
Right, that's what I mean. Typically, they'll do the study for nothing.
Typically, but
Right.
I'm
We
asking,
don't
these
know.
two going to do that?
But it also comes down to, Tom, we're paying Ty and Bond, the engineers, for their expertise to design systems. So the day might come, you might have to pay some type
Yeah,
of person to
none of-
design this system.
I don't think anything that we're putting in is dealing,
I don't think that part's with Ty and Bond.
no, none of that's with Ty and Bond.
But to be honest
No, but I
with you,
mean,
from my
their
experience,
experience, we're paying for their expertise.
Right.
We might have to pay for somebody's expertise
but my
to design
experience
it.
is you're gonna pay a lot more in overtime and
Yep.
calling Erickson
It's
in,
gonna be this.
wasting hours trying to figure out
Yep.
how Donnie did what he did to get
Yeah.
around and why it's not working because he didn't.
These
Yeah.
guys need
Take
to
the
be,
standard
need to
industry.
know everything we've got going, in the stages that it's going, so that if something happens, we can call them in and get this thing repaired. And it will happen, no matter, the best system in the world always needs might have an
You're
issue.
gonna need professional services to design all that stuff, you know?
Like I said, Erickson, I mean, they probably worked on almost every system in the state at one point or another, controls wise. Whereas Donnie was picking it up as
I'll make it work.
kind of a side hobby, you know?
Here's a transformer.
Yeah.
Here's a low voltage wire.
Did a good job, but you
He
know.
did. He did good work.
You know, but unfortunately,
But
he was
you
a
relied on
one-man
him.
show, and it was his,
Yeah,
you know,
You relied on him, and when he's not there, you're in trouble.
yeah.
so that'll be ongoing
Yeah.
through normal budgetary stuff.
So like I said, I cringed whenever he brought it up to me that he was trying it in Dudley. I'm like, oh man, I live in Dudley.
So as we working through the agenda, I'd like to move number 10 to the end of the,
Yeah.
unless anybody, just so that we can dispense with everything else, and then we can get into that and spend a little time on it. Finish that up. Number 11, accounts payable response from the treasurer. That has gone to legal. We did have a Zoom meeting right after our last meeting, and that is with town council. And that is in their hands. They are researching at this point. They haven't gotten back to us. There's some personal issues with town council, so it's been a little touchy, but they are working it. The last update was that they are looking for the information that we're needing. It's still being worked. Policies and procedures. Has anybody looked at I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the backflow cross-connection. We need to get moving on this stuff. Just, everything else is just keeping.
We just
you know,
keep putting it on the agenda
Yeah.
anyway, to keep
Yep.
time.
Yeah, you gotta keep it on there.
Yeah.
Keep it on there. We'll move that to the next agenda. Moratorium and water ban, that's,
Yeah.
we can push that off. Superintendents report.
Right in front of us.
We have a copy of it here. Ooh, this is a short one. Not even a full page. What have you guys been doing?
Been shorthanded a little bit.
Yeah, no.
The one that I want to touch on is the number 11. We did go out and get some quotes and looked at some mowers and stuff. I was very disappointed what was out there, aside from the one that we have now that is also on there, which is the one I'm kind of recommending for a number of reasons. One is the amount of gas that these new ones use is absolutely phenomenal. We're gonna be increasing our gas, fuel usage if we use one of those gas models. They have a lot of power, but in order for the power to be working, it requires a lot of fuel. So we're gonna be going to gas like it goes out of style. We cut quite a lot of acreage. So, and then one other that did have diesel capabilities. What? The what?
Where's the land that we cut?
We cut all of Bates Hill area, we cut Station 3, we cut Station 6, we cut Station 2, all those are big, large areas, and all Station 1 areas, and we even do all the sewer. If the sewer has a lawnmower breakdown, we cover them, and vice versa. Well,
I knew that, I just wanted it for the record.
yeah. So the reason I'm leaning, my preference was going back to the same type of Kubota we have. We've had this lawnmower 16 years, and it's really, aside from the mowing deck, which is common, we've had no engine problems or anything like that. It's still going now. The new one is, of course, much more expensive than back in 2004 when we did it. It's a diesel. It's going to be reliable. Ahern is right up in Spencer here. They always have parts available. If we need it quickly, I can go up there and get it, or whoever. Or in any emergency work they do for us, if they can do it. The other ones, they did say there would be issues with maintenance, mechanical repairs and things like that. They're smaller outfits.
Hey, George, can you give me the name of the wholesalers that carry those other three, Exmark, Grasshopper, and Ferris?
Yeah, Biggs Boys Toys in Pomfret, Connecticut, 169. One of the Exmark one, there's a Ferris diesel. It's so, the back end of it is like the size of a front end of a car, and there's no way that's going anywhere near Bates Hill. You'd be toppling right over it. It's very top heavy. The seat rides higher than any lawnmower I've seen. So that threw that basically out of the deal. So that's the one I'm recommending now, is to go back and get ourselves a ZD12, they call it. It's the same exact one as we have now with newer concepts, that's all.
To the chair. What if we contracted out to have the grass cut?
Cost you.
Costs a fortune.
Yeah.
For the amount of grass we have, yeah.
It was about 14 acres, you said, total, when
Yeah.
you're done, about between everything?
And you got the tanks up on the hill too, standpipe, and
Yeah,
across the
got
street of that
31.
too, There's a lot of area, and I wouldn't put a contractor up on Bates Hill because
Right.
they're gonna, we have a certain method, we cut it, Colonel, so
I
it's
mean,
safe, to
Are
do
you,
it.
are you looking for next spring?
Yes. I'm looking early now to put an order in.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Is there where do we stand on supply and demand as far as inventory? for these units?
They have no supply, and there's a lot of demand. And there's not even a model I happen to see a model in another location, but over in Ahern, there's nothing even in the showroom except one tractor. He says everybody's out putting orders in now, prices are gonna eventually keep going up and up and up.
So if you talk to them at Ahern, say, yes, I can do it budget-wise for next spring, can you find one and hold one?
Oh,
Or something on that
it'll be
theory?
at least next spring. They're already out into March now and going further. So I wouldn't even be worried about that, by the time we even get it, or even come close.
So
to it.
are you making a recommendation? I know
Yeah.
this is your report, but
I'm
I don't know if it
recommending to
should
the
be
board
on
that
the-
we
on
accept, the
Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
Kubota,
At tonight's meeting?
yeah, tonight, so I can get this thing ordered.
So you can get it ordered.
Is that within the procurement
No.
limits?
So,
With 3 quotes,
well, unfortunately, if you go the route that you did, where you just requested a price from 3 different ones, unless you went with it's either an IFP or an RFP, where you gave the specs and you can weight it based on more favorable items, which doing it this way doesn't qualify, you have to take the lowest bid. But because they didn't spec you the diesel, you could throw out the 2 middle ones, but by the procurement rules, you're supposed to accept the Ferris unless there was,
a problem with it, was top heavy, way too top heavy. And the other one, I couldn't get an accurate price on the diesel for the Grasshopper. Those are the only 3 diesels that were
But-
available.
Don't those vendors have to be on the state list, like
Yeah.
say John Deere?
They don't
United
have to,
Ag?
so-
Ahern is on the state list.
right. So if you go by the state bid list, you can buy through them, but if you put it out to get different pricing,
We got quotes only just to, because everybody's gonna say, well, this is cheaper, but what's the problem? Like I'm saying, some of these are not compatible to what we need to do the jobs we
I
do.
think you're
Right,
gonna
but
have to
that's-
spec it out.
That's where you need to write the spec and say, I need a lawnmower this size deck, this many horsepower, diesel. You write the spec out, and then you put it out.
It's just like when they buy a backhoe, if they want John Deere, it's gotta, the
They-
dealership has to be within so many miles of the, town.
Well, that's the other thing,
has
is the
to have
repair
this-
facility.
This
is-
So-
engine, you
So
know.
it's just a
have to
matter
put it all
of,
in-
you need
Yeah.
to write,
A spec.
you need
Yeah.
to write it up and say, these are the requirements that you need to meet. And, you know, if you put it out and someone says, oh, we don't have anything that'll fit your thing, then that's acceptable. All you had to do was request 3 prices. But if you went this route, theoretically, we're supposed to take Ferris.
But are we allowed to, can we as a board vote to spend that
You-
much for one capital item?
Oh, under the town's
Under
rules.
the town's rules,
Right.
yeah, what's the
I'm
town's
just telling you on the
limit?
procurement laws, the
Yeah.
state procurement laws.
Yeah, so have to put together an actual bid, an actual
Yeah,
spec.
I would think part of the spec, you could, height, width, so you'd be able to
Right,
get
so
in there.
there's probably something in there that tells you what angle of attack you can come at for a hill.
You'd have to get the
So-
cut sheet on that machine from
When
them.
we got the last one in 2004, that was not the procedure done back then. It was.
Yeah,
It was,
But there was also the places that we can get it serviced, the facilities nearby. There's a
you
few
can
other
have that in
factors.
there. So you can put that as
That's
part of
what
it, but that's why
that's-
you have to write it the way,
That's what I'm
It-
saying. Well, I'm saying it verbally, though, but I mean, I can write it in
Does that
there.
have to be published? Then you publish it in the paper?
no, that's
No.
only if it's over 50,000.
yeah, no.
So if it's over 50,000, it has to get
So you'd
published.
have to
No,
take
but-
that spec sheet to the different vendors and let
Essentially.
them go to the John Deere people, go to the Ferris people, go to the Kubota people,
Right.
and say, here's what I'm looking for, can you match this?
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to say, like, he can spec out the Kubota zero-turn model KX 350, whatever it is. But if you put it out to bid, it has to be this or equivalent. So, but if you list out all the details that you want, that it has to be able to go on a hill at a certain angle, it has to be a diesel engine, it has to be this many
Such,
horsepower.
such tire size.
Right.
Well, that's the tire, I'll let you mention it too, those tires are the straight software tires, they're not, on the other ones, they're not the heavy grip tires either. And that's what keeps that lawnmower where we're going.
I mean, myself personally, I support the idea of that machine, because I've seen the other one, and it's like, what, 4,000 hours on that engine or something like that already? But what we're saying is, we have to do it right, do it once and do it
Yeah,
right.
you just don't wanna get yourself in a bind over the
So,
procurement.
yeah, to write up
I
a,
think you have to get the complete cut sheet on that machine from them, and
That's the problem, they couldn't even get me a cut sheet on them, and I wanted all
a
the
spec
information.
sheet, and with the help of a few people, put that spec together of what you're looking for. Horsepower, weight.
So theoretically,
et cetera.
if you know that's the machine that you want,
You can Google the
just
spreadsheet.
get that machine and contact 3 Kubota dealers and get a price from the 3 Kubota dealers, and then you just buy it from whichever one has the lowest price. Pretty much. That's.
Yeah, because I thought, I know
But it
a lot
would
of
use
Kubota
close
dealers.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, but closeness is based on repair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you buy it out of
That's
Boston, because they're $1,000 cheaper, you can still go
Still
to,
get any.
you can still go to a Hearn. for
It's
your
just the
parts
other
and everything
dealers,
else.
the other manufacturers, is, I mean, this is the one that we want, but yes, I can put the spec and say, what is, to all you, and I don't,
So just-
there's one in Rhode Island, there's one over here, and there's one closer to Boston.
Yep.
I can submit them, I can call them, send them over the specs on this machine, and get the 3, and then get the board approval of where to purchase it
right,
from.
but we just have to do it according to Hoyle,
That's
so
what-
we're not
Yeah, yeah, we can
getting
do
called on the carpet for doing it wrong.
Just verbally, I didn't have they didn't even have any
There's
spec
still-
sheets. Everybody's been sucking them up,
I
so.
went up there Saturday, they were closed,
Okay.
because I had to go do a job in Charlton, so I went up
you
there, but
could
they were
Google
closed.
Okay,
Yeah, I could probably.
all right, and just so that folks are aware, I don't know how many of you have been down West Main Street, Schofield Ave, rather. I stopped on my way home from work today and walked the pad's been poured for the tank, it's all covered. They haven't put any pipe in the ground yet, but they're moving slowly. The tank is supposed to be delivered down there for the 7th, I believe. It's gonna be close. That project is moving forward, and per that email, it's conceivable that, that could be, we could be conceivably flowing water, into the system, by mid-February.
Then you'd shut the bypass line off going down to
Shut the
6.
bypass off, and maybe two separate
These
stations
Two
again.
direct stations.
Or we could blend in the other direction.
Okay.
So, that's, it's moving fast. I think, like, our superintendent wrote there, I'm not too pleased with the, speed at which stuff, the site work is being done, but they're on the hook. So, anything else on the report?
When do you, I see we won the trench box?
Yeah,
When do-
yeah,
Well,
thanks,
a
Bob.
portion of it.
Yeah,
Portion of it.
portion of it, anyway, so. So anyway, we're moving along. So, we'll be the first in the town to have one. That'll be good.
You can rent it out to the rest?
Yeah, yeah, I can see people knocking on our door. So that, unless anybody has any other questions on anything.
No.
Oh, by the way, on the sewer side, Alton Drive was a good change order. We found a lot of stuff up there that we're investigating now. A lot of infiltration, so it was well worth the money. Go further in on that.
Oh, for the INI?
Yeah.
So there's more work to do up there. And I told you Nichols is, I was gonna start cameraing up their side over there and start
Oh,
investigating. it
what
further.
ended up being the
We have-
problem up there on Susan?
We have to still put a camera up in there. And
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a real small one to go in there and see what's going on and where that water's coming from.
Found a lot of water coming down out of a sewer service. It's not coming out of the house.
So Brian went in the house, checked out, we checked, there is a dip, it looks like, he says there's a dip in the driveway area that never was there before. So we're investigating.
Just sump pump?
No
No,
sump
no,
pump. He
it's
went
not
in there,
coming
no
from
sump
inside
pump.
the house. It looks
Could
like
be a
it,
service going, it's plastic lines on those developments there. I mean, we put our listing devices on, where, but the camera shows it all. So we're gonna see about getting the camera to go, try to go in further, see exactly what's pouring in, where it is. Same with all the other areas, they're gonna have to investigate it too.
okay. And you still having problems on Lyons Road?
We'll be working on that too, we're just waiting on some materials for that, some pumps.
Okay.
Was it the infiltration on Alton and Bud, was it Roots? Is that what I'm reading?
Some are roots coming in through the joint, there's some, when the roots are going through the joints and stuff, water's coming in through there. Some other area, there was another one, a broken, 10 Susan, there was a broken line over there. 16 had its problem there. So, I mean, these are all in that same general area. Ashland is okay up in that area there. That was a newer side when they put that area up in there. But
So
I'm
then-
a little surprised at Susan having
So
some.
when we line it, is it gonna fix,
Well, right now, we want to find out first yeah, well.
like the
it'll-
roots?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the roots, yeah. As long as the pipe isn't cracked to a point where the lining will become ineffective. And so far it hasn't, so far they can do it. But there's some more investigation we want to do further, because that's a lot of water that was coming out of.
But is that your work or Institute Form's work?
That's Institute forms.
They found
It's such a form, yes.
Yeah, okay, that's good, yeah.
Yep. Okay, public comments? You're certainly welcome to stick around, you don't have to, but, it's all good. But, yeah, you were all set
Thank
as
you
soon
for
as.
being an audience, appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep, I mean,
I'd like to say something here. These guys,
they're public meetings, but you don't have to
Feel
sit.
good.
you don't have to sit through the whole
You
thing.
guys got your connections, we won't change it.
That's all that matters.
Well, you had me confused, I'm like,
Yeah, you go.
I'll swing by tomorrow.
Just wanted to make sure. Have a good
No, you're all good.
Good night, guys.
Take care, good luck.
Okay, so back to number 10.
He's number 10, huh?
Yeah, he's number 10. At least it's not number 2. Yeah, the Georgia's review, our administrative assistant so ably put together a complete a synopsis of how everything that she got, how the ratings were. The only thing that hasn't been done is come up with goals and objectives for that time period. Okay, we do have implemented.
This is my rough draft.
It says implanted.
Well, you could implant it or implement it, it's my rough
Is
draft.
that good, huh?
Okay, significant accomplishments the employee has achieved.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I don't know, George, did we ask you this when we last met? Where do you feel you're lacking?
Well, my computer skills, of course, are the best, as you all know. So I can only do so much on the computer stuff. I mean, I do stuff, but being where we are, we don't have much that type of equipment available. I work in a garage. So some of that area is lacking, but, I do what I can with that. Reports I'm good with, as long as Jen checks the grammar on some of it. As far as, I don't get a lot of time to get out in the DEP world of, when they post things because of where I am. I'm working the project going from where I am. I don't get a chance to get in the office or look at DEP things a lot because there's just not enough time. I wish I had more time to do some of the things because then like Bob catches some things that I don't get, like those some grant things or things like that. So that makes it a little difficult there, but personnel-wise, I'm always on top of them, making sure everything's going good. Project-wise, I'm always on top of that, making sure that I'm going further onto a fourth water source this thing, which I can't say much till anything comes to fruition. I'm always pushing forward. Like I said, building a new building, and do this or that. Making sure these projects are on top. I may not agree with the engineers a lot because I see a lot of things that I don't like. That I'm looking out for the town's interest money-wise,
Right.
and I see what a lot of the and don't take it the wrong way, but it's foolishness of spending. I don't like what I see, but have to do it, and it puts a little bit of a nudge in me that I don't like being.
Why do we have to do it?
Because it's, when you get an engineer involved in something, they go every single step through every process.
Dot
and
your
every
I, cross your T as an
But I'm
engineer.
talking like,
When we do, I'll
Okay.
simplify it this way. When we do projects, and even in the past, which, and I hold the past a lot because I did it. That's what we did in the past. And we try to reform now a little bit differently because now everything is paper and this, and we're gonna go spend money to go check that and have an investigation on that. There's a balancing act right now, and I see a lot of this, when the engineers come in and they do all these things and make us go through all these hoops and dangles and stuff. And I know there's other ways that we can do these things. I like to press my issue, but I know sometimes I have to back off, and that kind of gets me a little bit upset, but I do it, okay? But even though I do it, I still look at it when I'm viewing what's being done and how, like the time delays at Station 7, well 7, for that vessel, okay? If Station 6 went down right now, we'd have a big problem. And I had another method of doing this, and I explained it to Bob and you guys, and then that's the end of that. But it would have done the same thing at sooner time through another method, through another contract, way of the contracts. Were not part of what we were doing. We were doing well projects on that station ourselves, and it would have been done through that. And there's other ways that could have been done to do some things, but that's one of the things. It bothers me when
George, on that subject, you gotta look at it, as you mentioned, you did everything in-house for 30 years. We've opened up a new chapter now with all this well work, filtration work, PFAS, the DEP is involved, so it's like, it's a different environment. In a matter of a
it's
year.
definitely a different
In
environment,
a year,
yeah.
it's a different environment,
Yeah.
beyond
All
our
the-
control.
The legal aspects are just
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
staggering.
nobody goes through this kind of thing without having to get drenched in red tape. I'll call it
I
red
know,
tape.
I know.
So, you know, it's aggravating.
So I don't know if you remember when I first started on the board, but I've always said I'm always against SRF loans.
Yeah, and I always said
Just
after a while, what I
because-
say to you? Yeah.
I understand what you mean now.
Yeah, I said what you mean now. And he's
Because-
right. It was, you know, but we reaped the rewards,
Right.
even though, and Bob and I talked a lot about this, you know, Bob, should I just stop where we are? Should I not go with, but we're into it now. We got a lot of money, a lot of forgiveness, a lot of that. That's the worth of it.
So the additional benefits through the SRF on this round, which is uncommon, because they've never done a 0% with as much forgiveness as they are. Typically, it's a 2% loan. But for a 2% loan, it's not worth this headache at all, because you can go get that at the bank right now.
Getting yourself.
Yeah.
So, and I explained that when we first started going through this process, that I'm almost always against an SRF, but just because of the benefits that are involved this round, I was for it.
It opens you up, Tom, to a lot of, people could foresee what you're doing in there, but, and a lot of times you're dealing with people at a desk who have never been in the field, don't know what it's like in the field, and what we do in the field is 100% in the wrong direction that they're putting us.
And they're reading from a rule.
They're running from a rule book,
Telling you
okay?
what you have to
That's
do.
just the aggravation. I'm pressing forward now with allowing these people to come in and do their thing. I haven't said very much. Matter of fact, the contractor over in Station 1, him and I have been working out. I found a new gate that was supplying water to that driveway that we didn't know about, which I had something in the back of my head that we did something there way back 20 years ago, and I found it, which means we're trying to figure out why we're getting water this way, this and that. At least I found that now. We're finding a way to bring the pipe in more better and keep a availability for backup and redundancy for if there's a problem with the other stations open to us. That's something I told the engineer. I want a backup like 3, a backup to 1. If there's a problem, I want to be able to put them online. If a 747 goes into 6 and demolishes it, I want to at least have something on hand ready to go back up with the other 2 stations. And that's what I mean, you know, just.
No, you started off this conversation with your vast knowledge of the computer system.
I have no vast knowledge of the computer system.
Are you going, seeing that everything
I should
is
say,
going that way?
I'm not dumb with the computer. I mean, I'm not.
But are you looking, well, all right, are you gonna take classes to improve? Is that something we can help with?
I can get online and stuff like that. I don't need a class. I mean, I've worked with computers a lot in college and that, okay? I don't have a computer at the shop. And in order to come, I'd have to bother her for her computer or whatever, and she's doing work, and some of the other guys have them on their phones, and I do have one on the phone. I can go online and do some things minimally, but to sit there and read off DEP information on a phone is nothing like doing it on a screen at your chair when you're, at your desk, when you've got other things going and you can, concentrate on that. That's a whole different animal, and it's just where we are right now. It's, the office is a mess. I mean, I have no room in that shop at all
This is
because
just
they
a
turn the whole
copy,
place
correct?
apart. And that's another issue.
So I can
Can't
mark
work
that.
good over there. Boxes are piling everywhere. Materials, we're losing materials because they're being shoved aside.
But you were talking last meeting about redoing the other building.
Yes, yeah, I like, that's why I was bringing up the garage thing with possible office, try to get us where we can have an office and an area to do work and stuff, once this is kind of.
But I think it would be a benefit for the town if we got you a laptop there and get you trained, I don't say better, but.
I mean, Brian helps me a lot with it. I've got my own in-house teacher, if I need him.
But
sends
it's
me
not
through
good for one person to know everything.
Yeah.
But
Is there connectivity at Station 1?
Yeah, we have the internet set up and everything there.
Is it Wi-Fi? or is
Wi-Fi's
it-
there.
Is it Wi-Fi or is it plug-in?
Wi-Fi.
No, I'm just making notes, some of the things that we can do to help him do his job. There should be a computer station that, between him and his primary operator, that they can work at. Right now, they're having to work, to come and
On that
tag on
subject.
Jen's desk, or, I know there are times when the primary operator goes in and for lack of a better term,
takes over the admin.
destroys the feng shui of Jen's workspace, and that really isn't.
So I think some of the conversations at the treatment facility design and plans. I believe there was
Yes.
discussion on
There's an office, gonna be an office
having an
down there.
office and computer for the primary operator
Right.
for oversight of the treatment plant, for working and doing the monthly reports. So I think that will solve that issue.
Yeah, that issue will be
And I
taken care of.
agree with Tom's line of where I believe you were going with it. Would you find it beneficial for us to say, yes, buy a computer?
Oh, it'd definitely
Buy
be
a laptop
beneficial.
and-
I'd like to do is take that generator out of that inside garage room, get it to the back like I wanted it, and make more room in there to make an office cubicle or something.
I think you should have your own office. I think it's crazy the way you work.
Yes.
In the garage area where you are, I mean, I've been up there, and I don't know how you
But
get anything done.
while we're working on that, in the meantime, there should be some sort of computer.
I think a laptop would be more beneficial, because
Yeah.
if you're going to meetings and you're like, we have the meetings here, and we're going over some of these things, for you to bring it in with you if you needed to show something, I think it would be more beneficial than,
Yeah, no,
the
I
difference
mean-
in price between a laptop and
Tower, nobody buys towers
no.
anymore.
And
Would you want an iPad?
I haven't
no.
found the iPad very, I mean, they're beneficial for certain parts. I think an iPad would probably be great for Brian or Luke or something like that, because
think-
they can bring it out in the field and they can work on tie cards, but
As a superintendent.
for
you
someone
should
like
have-
him, I think he should have a,
And we've got some of that coming with
They
the
got one
asset
that makes
management
sense
plan.
for $419.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
well, I don't know how
It's like a
the,
17-inch HP.
but I don't know how the town
68
standards
gig.
are.
Yeah, no, it would have to be, it'd have to be a commercial grade, commercial level, which is more.
Probably like a
could be more
Dell or,
expensive.
Would
but,
that be something
Something like a
Brian
tough
would
book
be
or something like that. that would be
aware
a
of
little more.
what to look for?
because I know where I worked before, I looked at it and said, hey, I need to get these guys laptops. They're only $500, and they're like, yeah, no, we're gonna spec the laptop for you. And they're like $4,500 a piece. I mean, that won't be here, but I was like, well, what the heck? I can buy all of them for the price you're specing. One, you're buying laptops, they're these. We buy ones that will last, that will work.
That will last.
We're not gonna
They
be
have
working
all
on
of
them
the
every
pro-
other
They have
week.
all the
It's not just a
programming.
matter
in
of
place.
that, it's a matter of taking the courses online, because now you've got, a couple of us want to do it at one time, whatever. We should each have our own laptop as participants.
Right.
Well, that's what I was
And we're
gonna say
sharing
is-
one, we're playing bug eyes with each other, because now, it's not, but the problem is space again. I don't have any space. I have one table that's got everything on it, and cabinets are everywhere, and right now I can't do anything about it till they start moving, getting that project moving
A
along.
lot of the trainings went to online,
Yeah.
and if you're not specifically signed
But
in, some of them are
The
really
worst case
stringent about it.
scenario, if we get a laptop and you need to take an online course, it's not like you have to sit in there, you can come sit in one of the rooms here, yeah.
That's all Jen needs in that.
But not
I mean,
steal her computer, you know what I mean?
There's also a small meeting room that nobody uses.
I think right
downstairs
now
on
to
the second
start
floor.
another computer and one that we can,
Why doesn't the town form a training? The town employees?
Keep bringing this up to George, maybe we'll just say I'll retire.
There are places, and I've had conversation with the town administrator at times, and he said, we could give you a second office very easily in this building. Do we want a second office that we have to
Pay for it.
pay rent
The
for?
first one costs a
Or-
lot.
No, but I
So
don't
it's
think,
just,
we really need it.
No.
But I think computer, an appropriate computer that has the appropriately licensed softwares on it that are needed, that has the memory capability to expand for use, and that will be durable for the ham-fisted use of our superintendent.
Does the sewer department have down there? Have
they have the older style basic computer
But do they
now.
have the connection?
Yeah.
So you could go sit down there and.
I hate to say it, but that's just as crowded as ours is.
No, that's a
Yeah.
small room.
Yeah, you don't wanna
that's
be
all
there.
small.
No, we need to work on getting some office space.
I need to get some space in that room, and right now we're actually clearing some meter boxes out. We're moving to Station 6,
What's that?
put them down there.
I like your idea of getting rid of the generator.
I want that generator out. I've got to get, this spring at least, I got to get that generator put in the back. And
But I'll tell you, even if we have to build
it's
a.
supposed to be. It was never, I don't know why they had, I don't know why it went there, because not only does it generate a lot of noise in there, and the heat still, even with the protection there, it's
Yeah, move you
ridiculous.
closer to the men's room too.
Yeah, as I keep the men room warm.
That would make sense, to do that in the spring, to get that thing out of there and get some more space.
powers that be to look for specs that would be needed for a laptop?
Work with,
I can have the master of disaster.
Work with IT
get
here.
that, Yeah.
work with IT here to,
Yeah, I would think.
I made a note in the bottom of the,
All of it would have to
Review,
go through
because
IT
that's-
to make
Yeah.
sure it's compatible with the town system.
right,
and-
it'd have to be, yeah, so, I mean,
Good for them.
the $500 laptop is what I'm gonna be buying for myself, but that wouldn't be
Yeah,
sufficient
you're not
for,
going to Best Buy.
that's
to
not
buy
gonna
that.
be, that's not gonna be sufficient for the type of use here.
But I don't think it has to be 4,500 either.
No,
No.
I mean, I would guess up to 1,500.
No, I wouldn't put
It's
myself.
probably, yeah, it'd be somewhere between 1,000 and
I would guess,
1,500.
yeah, 1,200, maybe up to 1,500.
Personal, professional development of the employee during the next review period. That's what, I'm seeing here, Jen did a good job of summarizing what was brought up last month and what we have written down as performance, areas of performance where improvement is needed. It's all listed here from what we had put on our reviews. So, I've got that, getting a computer for George to be able to use. And will improve his IT capabilities.
Well, Judge,
Over the next
excuse
year.
me, Mr. Chairman, your real professional development is the classes you virtually have to take in regards to the DEP.
Yeah.
For your licenses, correct?
Yeah. And any course we want to
Unless,
learn.
yeah, unless you want to
upcoming-
pick,
See, that's the thing, DP holds a lot of
if you want to take on
informational,
something.
information on the computer and classes,
Yeah.
lead and copper say or whatever like that, and I usually have to do it on with the other guys or small, on my phone, through my phone.
So you could pick up
That's
a
not the
ton
way
of
to do
stuff off of
Yeah,
that on
it's
your
hard,
own.
I can't see, it's hard for me to see as it is.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Never mind,
Yeah, no one wants to look at a 2x2.
yeah, and that's how I've been working for
To
the
read a
last many
report.
years, is through the phone.
I just did that meeting yesterday on my phone. And it's horrible, trying to see the paperwork.
You don't even know who you're talking to, and,
So, I know you're very busy this, with all that's going on, but maybe by next time around we do this, you'll have taken some kind of computer enhancement class and.
well, I don't even know what I need for a class, I know how to use the computer. I've done it at Nichols when I was up there, but it's having it to even start using it is my problem.
Okay,
I don't,
I would think the most beneficial would probably be an Excel class, like a beginner's Excel class.
yes,
Just for budget wise, for doing numbers, for reports, for just spreadsheets, stuff like that. I think that would be beneficial for you.
In your spare time.
Yeah.
okay. And then, continue, one of the things that was, I know was brought up last month, because I brought it up, get your personnel doing, working more with the equipment, the big equipment, the BSTs, the loader and and all of that. Get, Luke's licensed for it. Get him doing some of the smaller, get him doing those jobs so that, because, that's a progression that you need to.
he does do some digging jobs, he does,
Okay,
something major he doesn't.
On that
But
subject,
you gotta
James,
get-
is he capable of running any other machinery?
does he have licensing? Is he licensed?
He's not a licensed operator. Can he drive the dump truck?
He can drive it, it's just under CDL, but I don't wanna risk it with a load and air brakes. He doesn't have, he was going for his CDL endorsement through the highway, but nobody would take
He
him.
didn't finish it.
And you can't do that way, you can't use a town vehicle to go get your,
So for James, as far as development, are we teaching him more towards the water treatment and the sewer?
right now,
plant and
he's got
everything?
his hands full with even the meter stuff, the treatments, as soon as he gets his license for treatment, then he's gonna start learning all about the chemicals and
Oh, okay.
and all
So
the
he's-
station. And right now, he's going between sewer and water.
He's
so
overwhelmed
learning-
now- he's overwhelmed now.
And his classes. So,
Never mind
like I
trying
said,
to-
I've only got 2 people to,
Never mind trying to put him in the back with a dump truck then. I can see that.
I ran into him the other morning before work hours. He was picking up his morning nourishment at a local establishment, and he walked out of there without his food. he took his coffee and walked out, and the girl said, "Oh, that guy just left his bag here." I'll take care of it. I ran out and gave him hell out in the parking lot, but, yeah,
He ran out.
in any case, yeah.
Quite a lot of
Okay,
stuff
so-
going on.
Tastes good, James.
Keep him
James,
going.
James is doing very well. I'm very pleased with how he's doing. He's got a lot of stuff going on, even at home, and he's managing through things. And he goes out and he, does whatever we
No,
tell him.
he's got a
and
great
learning.
personality. I know he's a hard worker, but
Yeah.
I just didn't know if he was a equipment man.
I still have to get him working more in the hole, working with the pipe and stuff. The mindset back and some of the guys is just to kind of, and it's more with us. We got to keep moving fast because it's
Yeah.
timely.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm
definitely-
assuming his eyes have been opened to the difference in work.
He is overwhelmed a little bit with that
Yeah.
because it's a constant. We don't really do very much sitting around with especially with all these projects going on and stuff. And I've got the poor kid running here, running there, doing this, doing that. It's, I feel bad sometimes in a way, but I try not to overwhelm with me. But we just don't. We don't have the manpower, so we're trying to make do with what we got.
Okay, so far I've got, as far as, plan, we need to provide, a computer, a laptop of some sort, for him to use. And, develop better office space at Station One, develop his employees' professional development. And I added, just put a bullet here, and I wanted to bring it up, is make sure to maintain appropriate personal time for yourself as well. I know that's not one of your strong suits, and it needs to be, especially as you're getting older. It's just, you need to do it. The department's not gonna float away if you're not here for a little while.
Jen is taking charge.
And that goes along with developing your
Put you in a hole.
employees.
Oh yeah, she's going in very shortly.
That goes along with developing your employees so that if you do have to be away for a day or two or a week or whatever, then everything, yep.
When we come in the office and Jen's got a John Deere hat on, then we'll have to start worrying.
And she's still got the controls.
Where
in
you
her hand.
been? Where you been?
Okay. Refresh my memory, is there anything else we need to do with this?
You have to, a percentage.
Oh, yes.
So did we get clarification on that?
Yeah,
I forget from the meeting, because that was one of the,
So there is a new, but we went to a meeting on it, and there is a new, but it still doesn't give you,
a scale.
thank you, I couldn't think of, yeah. There's no,
Yeah, that's what we asked for last time, was give us a scale so that we know where he's supposed
I
to be.
think that wasn't that one of the questions in meeting the town council as to,
Yes, that's one of the
So I
things that
don't-
we're
I don't
waiting
know
on
that
from
we've
town
got a-
council.
we have nothing.
we have not got
Nothing.
her opinion or whatever she called it. She would write us a,
Yeah, right after our meeting, right after that meeting,
I
she,
thought the board
she
recommended
left
something,
town
and
for
John was the one that.
the same kind of thing.
Right, but there still should be some type of guidance.
Yes.
so we just need the direction as to who makes the determination and what
Appropriate or.
what is available.
At a
You know what I
minimum,
mean?
at the least, we should be able to make a recommendation. We recommend
Right.
X.
See, you're a little bit different because what he was explaining to us is that there'll be like a pool of money where you're an enterprise, you're not.
Yeah, well, our pool of
Right.
money
Our-
is,
Our
So-
pool of
is
money is
separate.
based on our rates and what
Right.
we generate.
So that's how they're gonna be determining, like, based on, if you're thoroughly competent or not, then this person will get more than that person, but it'll all work within the sum of money.
with,
but
we're,
it's
work within
different.
whatever, it's
We're
different with us.
So,
Right, but that was part of our questions was, who has the authority to determine what that number is? And
It's gonna be done by a logarithm.
I
Is it-
I
thought,
set these up before. You set up an logarithmic table, you take the total amount of money in the pool
Right.
for each department,
that's-
whether you do it by department.
But that's for the town portion.
That's for the town portion, but we're separate.
But
Yeah.
they do it to us separate, right? So you got but they got a logarithm that'll say you have X number of people there, you rated them this way, this way, this way, and you punch those numbers in and it'll spit it out and say, let's say the pool's 4%. Well, that really means the ranges could go anywhere from 2 to 6.
Right.
So if you were outstanding, you'd probably get the 6. But if you have 4 employees and they're all outstanding, you're only gonna get 4.
Because it can only
If
be.
you've got-
The average has to come out to 4. and
Right.
It's gonna, and you can't exceed 4.
For every 6, there
You've
has to
got
be a
4.
2.
That's it, and it's not gonna go more than 4. As a matter of fact, if they've done the logarithm right, it's not so much
But
4.
we need to know what,
It's a dollar
you
amount.
know, do we say 2%, do we say 10%?
I think you.
And do we have that authority to
Do-
determine what the percent or amount is?
I believe you have the if we understood, you have the.
The recommendation, but it has to go to the town administrator for final,
The town administrator
Because
is
he's the
he's the procurement
personnel.
officer.
personnel officer, right?
So I believe you can recommend what percentage you feel.
It's just alarms.
You can recommend to them what percentage you feel, but he could come back and say, well.
She's,
I would've told
she's
you.
got
So,
me covered.
you know, all,
The alarm's like, my alarms.
And overall, the overall evaluation, 4 out of the 5 were thoroughly competent. We've only got 4. We've only got 4 numbers, so you didn't get one of them?
I didn't get mine in.
Okay. So, but that's, you know, how do we, I don't know, you know,
So I think
if we can
wait
put a
for
percentage to that. We need to get something from the
the
town.
determination from the town and then where
And,
we
you
go
know,
from there.
Personally, I mean, I'm only one vote, but personally, any action that we do take will be, if I have anything to say about it, will be retroactive to whenever the beginning of the evaluation period was, November. So, it will be retroactive to that,
So were you
as far
waiting
as
a
we're
res-
concerned.
for a response from town council on that? Because I will inquire with her. regarding
Town
that.
council, and then we need to know from, you know, what are the scales?
Right.
I know you're in what's.
But I don't
You
think,
were one on-
I don't
You're
think
in
there was
zone
any
4?
established scales. That was the problem.
Yeah.
I don't think the town
So I
has.
just don't know if we have, what our limits are,
Right.
so.
Based on other town superintendents, the size would probably.
But that's not how it actually works. It depends on how the town is set up and how the bylaws were written
Right.
and who has the authority in which, when they established the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund, what it said in those pertaining to his position, who has the authority, and, they've got the hiring and firing authority, and then.
Right. I understand that part of it, but I'm getting at is what we're paying our superintendent.
Right. But they left that out of they left that out of that whole survey that they did.
Our
so-
superintendent isn't even in the survey,
Yeah.
wasn't even part of the survey.
You did see the first response back from town council, like the day after, right? That listed, what the personnel director's authorities and everything were? She
Oh,
did.
she sent a copy of the,
Yeah,
yes,
Okay.
yes.
I didn't see that.
it came the day after. I know it was addressed to both, you
I
were.
was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay, I'll have to look on the town
If not,
website,
just let me know,
Town email's easy to
because I have.
easy to trace through.
That's the
It's
only
so
thing.
much, I don't know, is everybody on the town email now?
I'm not getting anything from my phone anymore.
Oh, because let me tell you, it's so much easier.
I just got a new
The
phone.
town stuff
Fills your
is
phone fast.
is separate. It's so easy to be able to keep
You
track
just need
of
to be
it.
aware of the second tab.
Yes, the second tab.
What's that, Colonel?
Yeah.
Bunch of balls in there?
I'll tell you.
Scroll down, just scroll down. down, I can only tell you.
I'm
you know.
scrolling and, you know,
Look at that thing, it's the other-
I
it's like
clicked on,
donuts, I was
go
like,
in, it says error, and,
I thought it was a golf ball.
He kept saying that, I was like, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Try the other tab.
That's an Apple, Bill? Apple
No, it's a new Galaxy.
or Galaxy? No.
It's a cheap one.
Are we done?
but, okay, so, I believe that's all together.
Yep.
We
I'll just
have,
add the other things and then, I'll have it for the next meeting and hopefully I'll have answers for you.
okay. Not hopefully, you will have answers for us.
Okay, I will.
Because your review's coming next.
Well, we're setting, we're setting the bar high, but we know that you're capable. So if you can get right under that bar, no problem.
That's right.
So before we adjourn, did we want to have Jen pursue IT about specing the computer and getting the price?
Yes,
Sure,
yeah.
sure, yeah.
She-
I will.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll work with Brian and IT just so that we
yeah,
have
'cause
what.
Brian should have some knowledge on it in that.
He has
Right,
all sorts of
right.
That's what I was
knowledge.
gonna.
But it has to fit into the IT plan for the
For
town.
the town.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brian should be aware of it.
Are you looking for that computer to have access to everything that my computer has access to?
He
Like
doesn't need point.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that.
As far as I'm concerned, I
No,
don't think you need access
point,
to
'cause that's
point. I
something,
mean,
that's a whole different.
although,
Don't you want that?
No, I could mess it up.
although if you go based on my opinion, there should be a little more access to point for the people that need access to point, but we
Yes,
won't-
and
we
that's-
won't go down that road right now.
Yeah,
but-
that's-
Nope, yep.
But he should be on the town server, he should have internet, email, Word, so. the
You
off-
should have Microsoft Office.
The Office
The Office suite.
suite.
And if he needs courses, as I know I need courses, I watch one of our
Would you get
engineers
a- would you
doing
get a-
math using Excel, and it's,
Would you get a printer for that?
He
Yeah, we need a
sh-
printer.
Well, you should be able to get on a network printer. If you're tied into the town's network system.
be printed
You
here.
can probably print to her office, but.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, if we wanted to print to mine, like when I'm gonna do specs on the lawnmower, I could print off to
Right, I
my,
mean-
to my, so.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, put the
We've
subject question mark,
Yeah, look-
printer.
Right.
Yep.
How to go about it.
Printers are not expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one right there.
Take that one.
But then one other thing on the software, I mean, personally, I think you should have the ArcGIS
All of that,
program, but the GIS is. I
that's
think
in
it's like-
development.
It's like $1,500 for the first to purchase, and then it's like $400 a year, but just to be aware, that's an added expense,
Yeah.
but
Yep,
I think it's.
that'll be
once
part of
it
the
gets-
asset management plan when that all
Right,
comes
and-
through.
And that is coming through with, actually, yeah, part of that is coming through with that program, but it may be a matter of.
That's
having-
right,
having two
I
licenses instead of one, I'm not sure how many were.
was getting new shoes on my car, and I ended up doing a ride-along with the asset management survey that was done last week or 2 weeks ago. And they went through every facility in town, every one of our buildings in town, very thoroughly. So, you know, that will be, I think that's gonna yield.
It will be good when it's done.
When it's done, it's gonna yield a good, positive, product for going forward. Our agenda is complete.
So what size shoes do you kind of wear?
6, 7, I think.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, good.